couple days ago, we had a fan that asked us if we would do a video talking about Jaguars players that were young and promising. And while I looked over the depth chart and kind of did my research, I realized we're going to go a step deeper. So thank you to that fan for giving us a shout out. They've been completely and totally awesome. They've been actually a very, very big supporter of our channel. One that we really can't thank them enough because they've been truthfully awesome. And that is Quint King Films, but that's with the money sign trademarked. They make some great highlight videos. Make sure you guys give them a shout out, give them a look. Yeah, they've been great to our channel. They've brought a lot of ideas, which we welcome. So we're going to talk about the Jaguars defense and why their defense is coming together. Why? Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. Now, when it comes down to the Jaguars defense, there's a few things you need to look out for right away. And for me, it all comes down to it all starts in the trenches for me. Former defensive end in college, I can tell you that it all starts, well, in the trenches. Now, sorry, just a little bit of a mic check there. Now, at the end of the day, if you can't get constant pressure on the quarterback constantly, you're not going to win many football games because it really opens up the rest of the field for the quarterbacks, and it really puts a lot of pressure on your corners. And it really, if you cannot take up double teams on the inside and be able to get pressure and set the edge, it's going to be tough on your linebackers too. Now, let's get into it. If you just a first glance at their 3-4 defense, which I believe is what they run. You've got Roy Robertson Harris at left defensive end, who, by the way, I think has absolutely made himself a hot commodity, especially for his last couple seasons with the Bears. Now, this last season only had 10 total tackles, but before that had 7.5 sacks in 3 seasons with the Bears. And I believe this man is an absolute hand. Something to keep in mind. He only, I believe it was an injury that sidelined him. Only played in 8 games last year and started 6 of them. But before that, this guy was just a menace. Roy Robertson Harris. Like I said, I watched him ever since he was playing for the Bears. When Akeem Hicks, wasn't in the game, it was very apparent that Roy Robertson Harris was a very special player, and I'm not even just saying that because he took up beautifully for Akeem Hicks, but a guy that not just in 2020 but in 2019 came out and had a 68.3 PFF grade rather, and the year before that had a 72.3 PFF grade. And when you're playing inside, especially with a guy like Akeem Hicks, you got to be able to be flexible, be able to come off the bench and do your thing, and he absolutely did that. He's a big reason as to why I believe this Jacksonville Jaguars defense is coming together. Then you also throw Malcolm Brown in there. Now, I've got a lot of respect for Malcolm Brown, a former first-round pick, but at the end of the day, I think that he could still bring a little something to this Jaguars defense, and we're going to get into why the depth here is big too. But Taven Bryan, another former first-round pick who I thought the Vikings were actually going to draft back then, but it's not over for him. I don't think. I think he can still bring a little something. But Josh Allen, I think is a very special player. No, we're not talking about the Bills quarterback. We're talking about the defensive end that I think when you take a first look at our first glance at, you see a guy that's 6'5", 260. He's prototypical size. He reminds me, just from a size perspective, not from a skill perspective, but from a size perspective, a unique Ngagwe, who I think actually, now that I think about, was a little lighter. But this man, first season came out 10.5 sacks, came back last year, appeared in 8 games, I believe because of injury as well, 2.5 sacks there. He is going to come back and really set the tone for this Jaguars team. Only 24 years old. I think he could very much supplant himself into being one of the best young defensive ends in the NFL. It's something I'm really, really excited for. Then you look at the rest of this defense. Again, you've got 2 solid guys on the edge there. Josh Allen is mainly going to play your will linebacker spot, but you also got Joe Sherbert, the quality Joe Sherbert. Now, other than the fact that his name sounds like an ice cream, is it even ice cream? I don't know. And then this guy goes out and gets it. Has 100 tackles these last couple years. Former 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin. Just flies around, makes plays. All you can ask of your middle linebacker, who your left inside linebacker if you're going to be playing a 3-4. But then you got Miles Jack, who flies around making plays as well. I wanted the Vikings to draft him back in the day so that we could kind of pair him with Eric Kendricks, but it's whatever because it happens. But a guy that in Miles Jack that had a 69.1 PFF grade, also had a pick last year. The year before that was a little rough on him, but he's playing in his more natural position. He's going to be a special player for this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Now, Clavion Chiason, I never know how to say his name, and for that I apologize. But it's kind of tough because you look at a guy that came last year, and as a first-round draft pick, you're expecting something, especially 2012, you're expecting something out of him. Played in 16 games, starting 3 of them, also had a sack. Not a great first year, especially for being a first-round draft pick, but I expect him to absolutely. It's really tough for first-round draft picks to be able to come in right off the bat and just contribute. But you got a guy that's 6'4", 250, a former LSU Tiger, had a 49.6 PFF grade last year. I think he's going to bring something this year. And this is why we talk about a plethora. You talk about Roy Robertson Harris, Josh Allen, Miles Jack, Clavion Chiason. They're going to have some solid quarterback, rushing linebackers, and defensive linemen that I think are going to be something to watch. Then you got C.J. Henderson, another former first-round draft pick, who, at the end of the day, it really is all about, yes, getting pressure on the quarterback, but also making sure you can guard your receivers. Last year had a 57.9 PFF grade, was targeted 46 times, allowed 30 catches, also had a pick. But, I mean, I love everything about C.J. Henderson, the former Gator. That's right, Gator, coming out here. I think he's going to be a special player, especially moving forward for this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. And then also Rayshawn Jenkins. Now, Rayshawn Jenkins, to me, could be a special player. The former Charger, former fourth-round pick, out of Miami. It's the U. Hit a 68.9 PFF grade, had a couple of picks last year, really helping to solidify that Jacksonville Jaguars defense, and just adding another piece. You also got Jared Wilson. The former, I believe I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he was a UADFA, but out of Michigan, had a 64.7 PFF grade last year, also had a pick. This defense, you just talk about that Shaquille Griffin, too, on the outside there. This is going to be a big-time defense, and I'm really excited for it. And it just goes from top to bottom. It's coming together. Urban Meyer, they got their quarterback, and honestly, they got their offense, I think, going, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But, again, when you get a special quarterback like Trevor Lawrence in there, you get your defense coming together. Again, Shaquille Griffin, who had a 64.1 PFF grade last year, also had 3 picks, former third-round pick. This coming together. This team is absolutely coming together, and I think the defense is going to take a major step forward last year. I believe they were near the bottom of the NFL from what I remember, but we didn't even get to some of this depth now. A player I'm really excited for, and maybe this will a couple players actually, is Andre Cisco, the safety. I believe it was out of New Mexico State. I actually had him as a pretty high draft pick. I believe I had him as a third or second round pick, but he went in the third. He was from Syracuse, but you watch his tape, guy's a ball hawk, go out, he just makes plays, and that's what you love about a safety. And if Jared Wilson doesn't do his thing, Andre Cisco is coming for him. So, and also Jay Tufele, I'm putting the world on notice. Jay Tufele is going to be a problem. That's right. Jay Tufele out of USC is a fun player to watch. I wanted the Vikings to get him because he's a run-stopping defensive tackle. Had 41 total tackles in 2019. I believe he was an opt-out in 2020. 3.5 sacks, 5.5 tackles for loss. Had a pick his freshman year. Guy's a stud. He's going to come out and make some plays for this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. But let me know what you guys think about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense that's coming together. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. We love every single one of you. Make sure you guys check out our website at thesportsbeatpodcast.com. In the description down below, you will find all of our social media handles, so you guys can give us a follow there. And always give us a listen on iTunes, and remember to subscribe there. And if you have anything you'd like us to cover, which we will obviously do, make sure you guys send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or leave a comment. We greatly appreciate it. But let us know what you guys think about that Jacksonville Jaguars defense coming together.